Imagine this. You get into your car on a freezing morning, turn the key, and drive off like you always do. But what if I told you that in those first 60 seconds, you might do the one thing that silently destroys your entire CVT transmission? Most drivers have no idea. It happens quietly. No warning lights, no strange noises, no sign of trouble. Then one day, your car just refuses to move. You stare at a repair bill that could hit $8,000. If you drive a car with a CVT, there's a 1 in 3 chance you need a major repair within 5 years. And winter is the silent killer. In this video, I count down 14 things you should never do to your CVT in winter. The number one mistake is the most dangerous because it feels completely normal. You do it every cold morning. You think nothing of it, but it silently grinds your transmission to death. But first, you need to understand why CVTs are so vulnerable. Unlike regular transmissions with tough metal gears, your CVT uses a belt that grips 2 pulleys under massive tension. When winter hits, your fluid turns thick like honey. The belt cannot grip properly. Every time you drive cold, that belt slips, generates heat, and wears away metal. The damage is invisible until one day your transmission just dies. The good news? Every mistake I show you is completely preventable. Mistake 14. You skip the engine block heater. If you live somewhere with real winters, this changes everything. Block heaters and oil pan heaters warm up your fluids before you even start the engine. That means your CVT fluid works with you, not against you. Your whole system reaches safe temperature much faster. Owners who use block heaters report warm-up times drop from 5 to 10 minutes down to just 2 or 3 minutes. Even a heated garage makes a huge difference. A vehicle in a garage can be 30 to 40 degrees warmer than one parked outside overnight. If you park outside in freezing weather and use no preheating, you set yourself up for trouble. Now, preheating protects your transmission at startup, but this next one destroys it while you drive. Mistake 13. You tow too much weight in winter. Towing always stresses a transmission, but with a CVT in cold weather, you really gamble with your investment. Cold CVT fluid plus heavy loads means your transmission works over time. The belt slips more than it should. Owners who monitor their transmission temperature during winter towing report seeing temperature climb into the danger zone. Some even see their transmissions go into emergency mode or throw overheating warnings, even when they stay within the official towing limit. The heat builds up fast. Factory cooling systems are not always enough. Keep your load at least 20 to 30% below the limit in winter. Add an auxiliary cooler if you tow regularly. Change your transmission fluid more often than usual. CVTs are not made for heavy-duty towing, especially when it freezes out. Speaking of fluids, this next one sounds like it should help your transmission. It does the exact opposite. Mistake 12. You add aftermarket transmission additives. There are so many products out there that promise miracles. But CVT fluid is specially engineered. You add random chemicals and you run a science experiment inside your car. The results are usually bad. Some additives swell seals or change the way the belt grips the pulley. This leads to rapid failure. And here's something most people never think about. You use non-approved additives and you can void your warranty. If your CVT fails and the dealer finds you used unapproved products, they may deny your claim entirely. Now here's where things get tricky. This next one can undo years of good maintenance in a single service visit. Mistake 11. You mess up your CVT fluid service. Aggressive flushes with high pressure can break loose sludge and send it through the system. This causes more harm than good. The safer way is a staged drain and fill, repeated 2 or 3 times over weeks to gradually refresh everything. Fluid should ideally be changed when warm because warm fluid flows better and keeps contaminants suspended so they drain out. Many modern CVTs do not have a dipstick. The level must be checked at a specific temperature with the engine running. Overfilling is dangerous because excess fluid can foam. Foamy fluid loses pressure and causes overheating. Always change filters and check for debris. If your CVT needs a computer reset after service, make sure it gets done. Or you might have shifting problems even with fresh fluid. This is not a job for quick lube shops. The procedures are specific. Mistakes can shorten your transmission life by years. Proper service keeps your CVT healthy, but even with perfect maintenance, this next one can leave you stranded because you did not know your transmission had a hidden feature. Mistake 10. You use the wrong transmission mode in winter. Drive mode is fine for normal roads. But if you climb icy hills, sport mode gives you crisper acceleration. Low mode is perfect for long, slippery descents where you need extra engine braking. Many CVTs also have a manual mode where you can select a higher starting position, like position 2 or 3. This reduces power to the wheels and makes it easier to pull away on ice without spinning. Hill Start Assist is another feature that holds the brakes for a few seconds on inclines so you do not roll back while you move your foot to the throttle. Many drivers never explore these modes or use them incorrectly, like using Sport for everyday winter driving and ending up with wheel spin. Learn what each mode does. Drive for normal, low for descents or slippery starts, and Sport only when you need it and only with smooth throttle. The right mode protects your transmission, but none of that matters if this next one slowly poisons your CVT from the inside. Mistake 9. You use the wrong fluid or contaminated fluid. CVT fluid is not just oil, it is a critical part of how your transmission works. You use generic or lifetime fluids that do not match your manufacturer specs, and you cause slipping, shuddering, or fast failure. You mix fluids, and you create another hidden danger. Chemical reactions create sludge or damage seals. Always use exactly what your car maker recommends. Change it at least every 25 to 30,000 miles. If you drive hard or tow, change it every 15,000. And never ignore dark or burnt-smelling fluid. That is a sign it has been overheated. It needs immediate replacement. The right fluid protects your transmission, but this next one damages it every time you touch the gas pedal or turn the steering wheel the wrong way. Mistake 8. You make abrupt moves on icy roads. Sudden throttle, sharp steering, or hard braking can break traction. Your CVT works over time. Each time your tires spin or grab suddenly, the CVT belt slips and heats up. The damage adds up fast. The key is smoothness. You accelerate gently, you steer with small corrections, you brake progressively, separate your inputs, accelerate in a straight line first. Then once stable, make gentle steering corrections. Then adjust throttle as needed. This sequence gives the transmission time to respond. Left foot braking is another bad habit. You keep your foot on the brake while you accelerate. Your transmission fights the brakes. This creates massive heat and wear. Smoothness benefits you in multiple ways. Better traction, better control, less transmission stress, better fuel economy, longer component life. Smooth driving protects your transmission, but this next one takes control away from you completely. It lets your car destroy itself while you sit back and relax. Mistake 7. You use cruise control on ice or snow. Cruise control is designed for steady, dry highways, not for slippery winter roads. If your car hits a patch of ice, cruise control adds throttle at the worst moment. It breaks traction. It sends you into a skid. Cruise also fights your attempts to slow down. If you see ice ahead and lift off the throttle, nothing happens. Cruise maintains speed. You have to tap the brake or cancel it. That adds delay. Plus, with cruise engaged, you lose the instant feedback and control you need to react to slipping. The rule is simple. Never use cruise control in winter conditions. Keep your foot on the throttle so you can respond right away. Control protects your transmission, but millions of drivers do this next one every cold morning. They think they help their car. They actually make things worse. Mistake 6. You idle for extended time instead of gentle driving. You let your car idle for 10 or 15 minutes in the cold. This does not help your engine or your CVT. This habit is left over from the days of carbureted engines that needed long warm-ups. Modern fuel-injected engines do not. You idle, and things warm up slowly. You waste fuel. Fluid does not circulate properly. The best way? A brief idle to build oil pressure. Then drive gently until everything warms up. This gets your fluids moving. It warms your transmission faster than just sitting in the driveway. Many CVT vehicles have programming that holds higher RPM when cold to protect the transmission. If you idle forever, this protection stays active longer. If you drive gently, things warm faster. You return to normal performance sooner. Gentle driving warms your transmission properly, but this next one shocks your transmission every single time. It feels completely harmless. Mistake 5. You shift to neutral while you move. Some people think coasting in neutral saves fuel or reduces wear. It actually disconnects your engine from the wheels. It removes engine braking. That means less control, especially on icy hills. It increases risk of brake fade on long descents where your brakes can overheat. When you shift back into drive from neutral while still rolling, you shock the transmission with heat and wear on the clutches. In some vehicles, you shift to neutral while moving, and you can reduce power steering assist or power braking. Here's something most people do not know. Modern fuel-injected engines use deceleration fuel cutoff. When you coast in gear, the engine uses zero fuel because the wheels drive it. In neutral, the engine has to idle. That actually uses more fuel. The safest move? Always keep your car in drive until you stop completely. Drive protects your transmission, but this next one ignores a critical warning that your car begs you to pay attention to. You ignore it, and it costs you thousands. Mistake 4. You ignore overheating warnings. If your CVT temperature light comes on, that is an emergency, not something you ignore until later. CVT fluid works best between 120 and 194 degrees. Between 200 and 210 is hot and needs attention. Above 220 is an emergency. Overheating destroys fluid. It glazes clutch surfaces. It makes seals harden and crack. It causes the belt to expand and lose grip. One thing most people do not realize: transmission temperature is separate from engine temperature. Your transmission can overheat even when the engine gauge looks normal. If you see an overheating warning, pull over safely. Turn off the air conditioning. Turn the heater to max to help draw heat away. Let the engine idle for a few minutes. Do not shut off the engine immediately because coolant circulation will stop. Heat will soak back into hot parts. If you do not have a warning light, consider a scanner to watch your transmission temperature directly. A transmission driven through overheating can face a repair bill of $6,000 or more. Warnings protect your transmission, but this next one generates that dangerous heat in seconds. Almost everyone does it when they get stuck in snow. Mistake 3. You spin the wheels aggressively when stuck. You floor it in deep snow. It might feel like the only way out, but all you do is generate massive heat. You grind away at your CVT belt and clutches. Temperatures can spike from normal to over 200 degrees in less than 1 minute of sustained spinning. By the time you smell burning fluid, the damage is already done. The situation is even worse if one wheel spins while the other does not. This creates side forces that can damage your differential. The right move is gentle rocking, a little throttle forward, then back. Never let the wheels spin wildly. If you cannot get free after a few tries, stop. Clear snow from around the wheels. Use traction aids like mats or cardboard. Reduce tire pressure slightly to increase grip, or call for help. After you get unstuck, drive gently for a while to let the transmission cool down before you drive hard. Endless spinning only digs you in deeper. It destroys your transmission. Gentle rocking protects your transmission, but when you rock, most people make this next mistake without even realizing it. Each time they do it, they wear out their transmission faster. Mistake 2. You shift between drive and reverse without a complete stop. This habit sneaks in when you park or try to get unstuck. But every time you shift directions while still rolling, you slam the transmission with shock loads. They wear out the belt and clutches. The worst case? You rock to get unstuck and shift rapidly between drive and reverse while you apply throttle. Each shift without stopping forces the transmission to reverse torque direction while parts still spin the other way. Always come to a complete stop before you change from drive to reverse or back. Wait until you feel the vehicle settle completely. It only takes a second, but it can save your transmission from years of hidden damage that shows up later as slipping, hesitation, or grinding. A complete stop protects your transmission. But now we reach the one mistake that destroys more CVTs than everything else on this list combined. Chances are, you did it this morning. Here it is. Mistake number 1. The silent killer almost every driver is guilty of in winter. You accelerate hard before your transmission warms up properly. This ruins more CVTs than every other mistake combined. You start your cold car, you jump in, you hit the gas to merge into traffic or get up a hill. What you do not see is the thick fluid inside your transmission that struggles to move. The pump cannot generate full pressure. The metal belt cannot grip the pulleys. The clutches do not engage smoothly. Every bit of power you demand grinds away at those sensitive parts. The damage happens in 4 specific ways. First, thick cold fluid does not form a proper protective layer. Metal contacts metal. Second, low hydraulic pressure means reduced grip. The belt slips more than normal. Third, clutches grab and slip repeatedly. They glaze the friction surfaces. Fourth, cold fluid cannot carry heat away. Hot spots develop. They cause accelerated breakdown. The worst part? You notice nothing wrong. There are no warning lights, no strange sounds. Every aggressive launch in the first few minutes scrapes away tiny bits of metal. It stretches the belt. It glazes the friction surfaces. Over weeks and months, all that invisible damage adds up. Then one day your car just stops moving. Most CVT vehicles have programming that tries to protect the transmission when cold. You might notice sluggish acceleration or higher revs. That is your car begging you to go easy. If you ignore it and floor the gas, you override those protections. You force the transmission to work without enough lubrication or pressure. The right way is simple. After you start your car, let it idle for 30 to 60 seconds to build oil pressure. Then drive gently for the first 5 to 10 minutes. Keep RPMs low. Avoid any hard acceleration. You feel the difference as things warm up. The engine sounds smoother. Throttle response becomes crisper. Shifting becomes more normal. These cues tell you the system is ready. If your car has a blue cold engine light or a temperature gauge, wait until it turns off or reaches normal range before you drive hard. If you have a scanner, you can watch the transmission temperature. Wait until it hits 160 to 170 degrees. There are countless stories from owners who lost their transmissions early just because of hard cold starts. Just as many from drivers who made their CVTs last over 100,000 miles by warming up gently. The difference is just a few minutes each morning. Those few minutes of patience save you thousands of dollars and years of trouble. If you take only one thing from this video, let it be this. Never drive hard on a cold CVT. Gentle warm-ups are the cheapest insurance you will ever buy for your car. Now let us bring it all together. If you want your CVT to survive winter year after year, there are 3 core principles you need to remember. The first is thermal management. Keep your transmission fluid fresh and at the correct level. Watch your temperatures, especially if you tow or drive in harsh conditions. Respond quickly if things get hot. Maintain your cooling system. Use preheating or a heated garage when the weather turns brutal. And never rush your warm-up. Give your car those first few gentle minutes every morning. The second is mechanical sympathy. Drive smoothly. Avoid sudden moves, especially when roads are icy. Never spin your wheels aggressively or shift between drive and reverse without a complete stop. Do not tow more than your vehicle can handle. Every gentle mile adds up to a longer-lasting transmission. The third is maintenance diligence. Change your fluid at safe intervals. Always use the exact type your manufacturer recommends. Follow proper service procedures, including filter changes and computer resets if needed. Inspect for contamination or wear. Do not ignore small problems. Fix issues early. It is always cheaper than waiting until something breaks. Every winter mistake we covered is common, but everyone is preventable. You do not need special tools or expensive upgrades. You just need to understand how your CVT works and give it the care it needs. If you do, your transmission lasts for many winters and many miles. If you ignore these lessons, you could face a massive repair bill much sooner than you think. The choice is yours. Drive smart, treat your CVT with respect, and it takes care of you. 2.